Hey guys, how you doing? This is Mango etc. and I'm here today to bring the review for K episode 10, and I don't know where to begin. Like, quite a bit happened in this episode and I don't know where to begin. I guess let's just go from the beginning and work our way through to the end. That's the best thing to do, and then I'll explain things as I go along, I think, for this episode. So what the episode is about is the Reds have now taken over this school and they are looking for the guy who killed their friend. So straight away from the episode begins, we have the Reds. They're coming in with I say 50 man strong at least. 50 man strong at least, and they've just come and they've just blasted their way into the school, and they're basically saying, yo, no one move, don't try nothing funny, cooperate with us, cooperate with us and you'll be fine. And because the school kids were in a panic at first, but they're they had to settle down and just listen to what the Reds have to say. We get to see how the Red King goes off, and it's the bartender. I don't know his name. All up until this point, it's not even that I know it to say it badly. I don't know his name at all. But yeah, we have the bartender from this episode, and I can safely assume that he's the Red King's right hand man. I suppose you could safely assume that from previous episodes, but for me, this episode clinched it for me. So yeah, but he's the one who's taken charge. Really, he's making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. He assigns Yatta to just look over. He's basically the security man. He's making sure no one gets in and out of the school. And at the Islands Gate, I should say, we have the Blues. They've set up there because they've heard about how the Reds have taken over the island, so they've set up there, and the Blue King is in a predicament basically because he wants to avoid a war with the Red Clan, but he also wants to stop the Red King from killing the murderer, especially if he's the colourless king. And we do learn some things about the colourless king in this little scene. We find out how that each colourless king has a different power from the colourless king before it, so there is no way of knowing what power that the next colourless king will have. And to add to the worry, and this adds to his worry because he's worried that the power that the next colourless king he's worried that the power of the next colourless king will disrupt the power system of all of the kings at this present moment of time. Yeah, so he's worried about that. We also get from this scene that the heartless woman, the Blue King's right hand man, she's because we see her apologizing to the Blue King about the fact that the Red King got away, and she also blames herself for the current situation on the school. And I personally think that she's right to blame herself because of everything I said in the last review about how right arm should be just as strong, if not a little bit weaker, than their boss. So I think she's right to be. I think what she did in this episode was right. Like, she acted in the right way, but we have the Blue King, and he's like, you shouldn't have to feel this way. It wasn't you one's responsibility. But she's right, I'm right, we are right as a whole. What else do we get in this episode? We find out that Shimi, the guy who supposedly betrayed the Reds, in my personal opinion, what he did wasn't a betrayal at all. We find out how Shimi, he left the Reds to join the Blues because he wasn't about this gang life no more. He wanted to do something more with his powers, so he joined the Blues, which is a law enforcement like group of people. So to me, this makes sense, and I don't really see it as a betrayal. I see that as he left because his life was taking a different path, and I see nothing wrong with that. But we also find out from this flashback that how Yatta, oh, it wasn't even in the flashback, but it was stated in the episode that Yatta and Shimi were partners. So this can go to see, we can take this as a reason as to why Yatta is more upset about the betrayal than the supposed betrayal than the rest of the Reds, because obviously Yatta was the closest to Shimi at the time. We also find out during the flashback that how it seems that Makoto, the Red King, he took in Shimi off the streets. We don't get too much information about that, but it was stated in the episode. Another scene we get in this episode is when we have the bartender. He's come over to where Makoto and at the time Anna, where they're resting, and this scene is just basically how he's just talking, and we get to know what kind of king Makoto is and what values that this bartender guy likes about his king. And yeah, we just get that, really, like nothing too major there, but we just get to find out what kind of king Makoto is. Like, he's not the type of king who rules over his people with an iron fist. He's the type of king he is that he's one with his kingsman, and he doesn't use his title to he doesn't take his title for granted, basically. Yeah, he doesn't take his title for granted, basically, and he's one with his subjects. Like he treats them all on the same level. Like, they're all on the same level. There you go. The last important scene for me in this episode is the whole Red King meets the Blue King bit, where the Blue King is basically asking the Red King to let him bring in the guy who killed his friend, and if he does let him do it, then he can choose the way that he dies. But Makoto, he refuses this. He's adamant that this is something that he has to do. We also learn in the scene that the Red King's sword of the Damocles is in a poorly state, and we learn that the state of the king's sword of the Damocles is basically, if the sword is healthy, then that means the king is healthy. So we find out in this episode that his sword is in a bad state, so that means that he's in a bad state. And the Blue King goes on to say that his viceman's level is reaching its peak, and that killing this colourless king will take it over its peak, and therefore we'll have another crater situation. And the Blue King goes on to say that if we do have a crater situation, not only is everyone on the school, not only are all the students going to die, but also all the Reds. But we still get this. We still see that from this scene that the Red King is adamant about he's got to be the one to kill this guy who killed his friend. So I'm thinking he's got a plan. Like, he doesn't, from what I've seen of him, he doesn't seem like a person who would let his friends die. Like, he seems to care about them a lot, in my personal opinion. So for me, I don't think that he's being a bad king by wanting to kill this guy who killed his friend. I think he's actually got a plan. I think he doesn't think that his sword's gonna drop. I think he knows what he's doing. I was gonna say, he knows what he's doing. Like, he knows he's got a plan. The last thing I should mention is we do get Yashiro, the black dog, and Nico in this episode. They have a quick little scene at the end where they've come back to his house. Well, house, it's not really his, is it? But yeah, they get there and they've seen that it's exploded, and yeah, nothing much happens there. They just basically decide that them three are going to be the ones to save. They say that they have to, like it's their duty to save the students, and so they decide that they're gonna do that. I don't see how they could possibly think that the three of them can save a whole school full of students, but hey, they're gonna go for it, and that's how the episode ends, I think. The last thing I want to talk about before I call it a video is Anna. We get a bit from Anna in this episode. We find out that she can see auras, and this is shown through the fact that how she could see Makoto's aura, and that how she started to lose sight of his aura when the snow was covering it. She also goes on to say that how Makoto's aura is the most beautiful shade of red that she's ever seen. I think she says that. She does compliment it. I know that for a fact. And she also goes on to say that when she's around Makoto, because Makoto does ask her, because it was snowing, don't you feel cold? And she responds to this, I don't feel, when I'm around you, I don't feel the cold. I'm not too hot and I'm not too cold. Like, she's just fine. And these things, when she said all these things, when she did all these things, it made me wonder what kind of relationship Makoto and Anna have. Now, I don't want to think the wrong thing, because that would be too inappropriate. Anna's a little girl, Makoto looks like, I was going to say big man, but maybe not big man, I say 19, 20 maybe. So yeah, I didn't want to think the wrong thing. What it did cross my mind, and that, but I immediately said no. So but I am stuck between, is it a father and daughter situation, or is it an older brother little sister situation? If you're watching this, please give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I'd like to see what you think. But I don't know. I'm thinking like father and, yeah, I'm gonna go for father and daughter really, and I don't really have a reason for that. It's just like a gut feeling. I don't have a reason for that, but I'd like to hear yours, especially if you do have a reason for it. So drop that in the comment section below for me, please. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it a video now. So for my rating, it is going to be a 3.5 star. And I'm going to leave it at that. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.